Hi, my name is Chrissy. I'm going to be showing you an introduction to using Mosaic. I have a basic Plone site here that I haven't done any customizations to. The only thing I've done to the build out is to add Plone app Mosaic. So now that I have logged into the site, I can go to Site Setup and activate the add-on. And at this point, there is nothing else that I need to do to configure Mosaic to start using the Mosaic layouts. So I will go back to the root of the site and add a new page. This part isn't going to look any different than what you're used to in Plone. I will give the page a title and then save it. So currently this is still a normal page in Plone. To change it to a Mosaic layout, there is a new display option under the display menu to change it to Mosaic layout. When I click on this, the page will refresh, and so far nothing changes until I go and edit. I get an option of selecting a layout for either basic or document. Now while this page is a document, I didn't add any body text, and I want to be starting from scratch. So I'm going to select the basic layout option. If you give it just a moment, then the editor will display. So by default, there are two tiles, the title and the summary. To start customizing this layout, I will click Layout at the top and select Customize. Now when I do that, two new options show up on the right side in the blue bar, Format and Insert. I can also click on the existing tiles and delete them. So I'll go ahead and do that to start from a blank slate. So now I can start inserting new tiles into the page. For this demo, I'm just going to be using RichText Tiles. Now I clicked on that. I don't get any option to enter any settings for the tile, but once I start moving my cursor, you can see that this tile is moving around as it's prompting me for where I should be placing the tile in the page. Since there are no other tiles, I don't have any option, so where the blue line is, that's where the tile will be inserted. We have a minimal rich text editor here. If you are used to editing pages in Plone, this will look similar. I'm going to make the text a little bit bigger. Now I can insert another rich text tile. As you can see, I now have more options as far as where to place the tile. I can place it directly above the other tile, directly below, or as a separate row beneath this tile, as far as vertically. Horizontally, I can also add the tile to the left or to the right of this tile. So as I click on the left, it inserts it automatically and takes up half the space. I can replace the default content with an image. I've already loaded a few in the site. And that will show up like this. So let's do a couple more rich text tiles. I'm going to make sure this one is inserted as a separate row with similar formatting of larger text. And then I'll add another rich text tile to the right of that with another image. So now we have a couple rows of content. So you can see the tiles automatically take up 50% of the width. If we add more tiles, we can add up to 4 in a row by default. Then each one would take up 1/4 of the width. Now as I move my cursor between the tiles, you can see this thick dashed line, that as I click and drag that, I can adjust the width of the tiles. So we'll do that on both. Give the images about 1/4 of the width. And when I save this, go back to the regular view and see what the users are going to be seeing on the page. Now this is responsive, so if I switch to a responsive view in my browser and squish this down, you can see how the content is going to adjust automatically. The tiles are displayed left to right and top to bottom. So there's the first image, the first text tile, the second text tile, and then the other image. So back to the full width view. And we'll edit and see what other options we have. So clicking edit, the Mosaic editor will load again. Now when I click inside of a tile and go to the format menu, you can see I have several options. There are options for formatting the tile itself, for how the text displays inside the tile, or there's formats to apply to the entire row that the tile is in. There are even more options of how we can have everything display. Or if you want to change how things are showing up, you can click and drag a tile to move it. Oops, accidentally moved the content. And you can see that solid blue line is going to allow us to move that tile over. And then once again, we can change the widths. Now there is a difference with the RichText tiles. If you click it once, it's prompting you to edit the content in the tile. Now if I click somewhere else and then click and drag on that tile without just clicking it, then it's going to move the tile for me. So I can put this one above the text. I can move the text to be in between them. You can see as you play with it and move things around that you have a lot of different options for how all of the content is going to display on the site. I would encourage you, if you have a Plone Mosaic installed on a site, to set up a dummy page like this and just play around and see what kind of things you can do with it. I have a couple other sample pages here in my site that I had set up for testing. This one's similar to what we just put together. Or a page that is full of images. Text can be added in here, links can be added. So I'm hoping you can see all of the possibilities of the things that you can do with Mosaic layouts.